Hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Bi Guys. I am Rob. I'm excited for this episode, part 3 of this 3-part series on BFF, the Best Friends Fest. No, the Bi-F Fest. You know what that means. This is explicit, I can say it. It's the Bi-Fuck Fest, whatever, fuck it. Today I've got 2 more interviews left from the winter event this January, and then I have an extended interview with Brad and Tracy, who are the current organizers of BFF. This one was recorded a few months later. We'll spend most of the episode today with Brad and Tracy. I've been wanting to have them on for a while. So you'll hear about them and their lives and how they run the event and the history of the event and how it was kind of one of a kind when it started, but actually as of lately, more and more things are popping up like it, which is wonderful. We can never have too much bi community and bi events. There's not enough. This is episode 8 of season 10. I can hardly believe it. We're almost at 100 episodes of this show. Crazy. I've got 2 more in the works, and then stay tuned because I have big things planned for next season when we are into our second batch of 100 episodes. I don't want to share too much now. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited for where things are heading on this podcast and in my coaching practice and in my life. I feel like I'm at a transition period, which I've been in many times, but this feels like another one. So thanks for being here for the ride. As always, if what you hear here resonates with you and you want to get in touch with me about coaching, I do individual and group coaching. If you're hearing this on the day it comes out, I've got a couple spots left in a group coaching cohort that begins this week, July 8th. And if you're listening to this later, there will be more and more cohorts. The group work is so wonderful. I want to keep leaning into that. It's really magical. My website is robertbrookscohen.com. Okay, before we get into today's interviews, I do feel like I want to just put a disclaimer that maybe I should have put at the beginning of the BFF series. Maybe it's kind of baked in there, but I've had some conversations recently and I want to be explicit about this, which is that BFF is not for everyone. You might not like it. As much as I like it, and I feel that the bi community there is so strong and wonderful, it is first and foremost a sex event. It is a weekend-long play party. It is possibly the most intense, extreme version of all this. And so anyone can obviously attend, but it does cater to people who will be into that. If you are more on the demisexual side, sapiosexual side, you may have a wonderful time there, but just as a disclaimer, you may have to navigate a hypersexual environment, and you might have to have strong boundaries, and it's a great place to practice that. But that said, if you are new to this scene, newish to the bi community, new to play parties in general, this may not be the best first step. There are other play parties that ease you into these things, that do group exercises, get to know you things, games, like my friend Hannah from the first episode of this series has been organizing a play party in LA called Bisexual. And she really eases you in slowly, does icebreakers so that you can make connections before anyone takes their clothes off. There are different spaces within the loft where you can kind of hang out depending on how ready to play you are. And BFF is kind of like jumping in the deep end. There could be over 200 people there at any given time. There is lots of play happening around you at all times. People may ask you to join them at any moment. And like I've discussed in some other episodes, consent can operate differently in male-only spaces versus spaces with women. And when you go to gay spaces, it's often this nonverbal type of consent where people may reach out and touch, and people will look into your eyes and give consent that way. I'm not judging this or saying this is good or bad. It is just something to navigate, and it is a reality that exists in gay culture, in dark rooms, in masturbation parties that I've talked about. People aren't always coming up to you and saying, can I do this? Can I do that? The way I think is more common in spaces with women. And BFF is somewhat of a hybrid. You will find some of that verbal enthusiastic consent culture among some people. And sometimes among men and in playrooms, you will find the other type that is more common in gay spaces. And so it is important to know your boundaries and be comfortable enforcing those boundaries. I have found that people are friendly when you say no. Obviously, I said no many times during this BFF because I was celibate, but that was sort of an easier excuse. It can be difficult to say no when you feel pressure to play or when you're just not into someone and you don't have the celibacy excuse. It can be awkward. I understand that. And so I just want to share that this is not for everyone. Maybe wade into the waters in different ways at different types of parties before this one. And not everyone's experience will be as positive as mine or as positive as the ones I'm sharing in this episode. The vast majority of people have a wonderful time. Like I've said, the community is amazing. I really do feel like this is a certain type of bi utopia where everyone is accepted and anything is possible. But utopia looks different to different people. And so I just want you to be aware that if you're listening to 3 episodes about this and it's not totally resonating for you, that's okay and that's normal. And I will talk about other stuff on this podcast soon. It's not all about sex. And in fact, some of what I've been thinking about and planning for next season is to share what I've learned about celibacy and about sexual energy. And going to BFF and being celibate there was a big part of my journey. I actually learned a lot from that you might not necessarily hear in these interviews. I'm still processing it and integrating it. And sex is wonderful. I think sex is great. I do not want to be celibate for my entire life. And yet, something about this experiment did teach me that there is a limit and there is a line where you want to be in alignment with yourself and you can go overboard with sexual energy. There are ways to overuse it or use it mindlessly or waste and spread that sexual energy instead of using it productively and transmuting it into your creative energy and life force. So these are all things that I'm thinking about. I wouldn't want to spend my entire life the way BFF is, but it is also this wonderful container and sort of ceremony where the few times I've been, 3 times now, I go and have these peak experiences, a certain type of peak experience. And then it takes some time to integrate and kind of settle down and go back into your life and see what you can learn from that experience. So it almost resembles a medicine journey in that way. You can't be with the medicine in that way all the time, and that's good and normal. And yet it is wonderful to have these experiences when you feel called. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to share for now. If you have questions about BFF, obviously always reach out to me. All right, so we've got 2 more interviews from the event, then Brad and Tracy, the organizers. First up, here is an interview with Steve, who was also on the episode from last year's BFF. Enjoy this conversation with Steve. Okay, we're back with the repeat from last year. You heard him on the podcast right here. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hey, I'm Steve. I'm from a couple episodes, I guess. And perhaps maybe you could hear me from a description of a situation earlier this weekend. I'm Steve.
Oh yes, you were in the. Someone was Piglet was describing a 6-way happening by the pool, and you were involved there.
I mean, I hope to be involved in all the ways, but yes. Hi, Hot Rob. It's been a fun weekend. It's been actually, for me, one of the most mellowest weekends. I've maybe only actually had genital and penis and genital sex twice a day. Only.
So little.
Throughout here, like I don't count oral sex because that just happens. Yeah. It's kind of embarrassing how often that happens, actually. But yes, it's been a great weekend. There were a lot of new faces that very much intermingled and just got absorbed into the mix very easily, from what I could tell. Um, a lot of new variety of people. Just definitely a. I guess I'm just really happy to see fresh faces. And I think people like you are calling them over. I'm definitely trying to like tell friends about this place and bring them over because who doesn't want to be friendlier with their friends?
Indeed. I think we should all have sex with our friends. That's my mission.
Some friends, some friends,
I
some
guess
friends.
it depends.
Yes.
Maybe it was more mellow this year because I wasn't having sex, so that like took it down a slight notch. What do you think?
I mean, I'll give you kudos for being very diplomatic in saying no, I'm not partaking, but I am very tempted. That was fun to watch a few times, folks. Hot Rob saying no is a piece of art, really. It's a work of art. Um, so yes,
I did learn that like it is kind of nice to say no and it doesn't disconnect you from people. There's a way to do it where you're still like you're there, you're with them, but like you're just not, I can't do that right now. And it's cool.
and it goes back to I think what I said my first time around. That everyone here is very accepting, very just authentic in who they are. So like that's I guess proof of what I was saying that like it doesn't matter that you're partaking or not.
Right.
It is just you're here for the fun, you're here for the vibes, you're here for the debauchery, whether or not you are partaking or creating it.
Yeah. No one was butthurt that I said no. um, I feel like every time I walked into an orgy, you were there this weekend. Is that accurate?
So maybe my memory is a little bit hazy, but then that's what happens when the endorphins and all the happy brain chemicals are high. Um,
Is it all group play, or was there some solo stuff you did, or anything like that, or is it mostly end up in groups?
I'm very friendly, so I want to say that like if I'm here, it usually became more than a threesome. Uh, yeah, so I definitely played with. Actually, maybe I'm lying. So yes, like I definitely played with several couples.
Okay.
Yes, definitely played with several couples, and then this time around,
Group.
yeah, definitely actually finding that my niche is more the BDSM play, like impact play.
Uh-huh.
Definitely had a little bit of a following that way.
Cool. I did notice a bit more of that this year. Here and there, I saw some scenes with the St. Andrew's Cross and other things.
Yeah, like I've started just traveling with my like impact kit, so floggers, paddles. That's someone that I did not play with.
The one person.
At this point, perhaps actually. Um, but yes, overall, like I like adding to situations, and I think adding the kink aspect to it is definitely it's intrigued folks that weren't into it. I know I helped a couple with their own little fantasy where usually she's the dom and he's the sub, but she wanted to be submissive in a safe way, and they reached out to me to help enable that. So that was very fun, especially when they're both about 6 feet tall, and I'm 5'5". So yes, it's always fun.
Lovely. Any final thoughts or anything you want people to know about this place?
Give it a shot. Be yourself, and don't rush about it. Just be yourself. Yeah, thank you, Hot Rob.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks again. All right, that was Steve. We've got one more interview from the event. This is Drew. Enjoy this conversation with Drew.
Oh, I'm Drew from LA. I am bi cis guy. What brought me here was continuing my journey through sexual discovery after being in a monogamous relationship for too long, and yeah, just really meeting these wonderful people here. I don't know what am I here for? What do I do here? I mean, like, yeah, I started out with swinger parties, swinger clubs, which are okay for intro because they're always available. But I think the play parties are really the places that have communities, right? A lot of places don't have communities. We just found a new play party group recently that has like multiple social events every month, right? And similarly to BFF, where there's actually a social aspect. You know, a lot of the swingers thing, you show up and it's already 10 p.m. People are already there. You know, those one-off parties, you show up and it's just like, oh, there's not really a social thing. Like people are already naked, but here you just have hours and hours to hang out and meet people and talk to people and get to know them. And similar with these other groups where you can go to the social meetups. It's nice to form connections versus just kind of show up. I don't like fucking strangers. I like fucking new people, and then they become not strangers anymore, right?
Exactly, the intimacy of sex, and then you become good friends. Tell me about your relationship, the trajectory of how you started exploring everything.
So like I said, started going to the swingers clubs. Started to just figure out what my poly was, what my thing was. Started out saying, "Oh, I'm monogamish," and I got into a relationship with a woman who was exploring with that, and I became more non-monogamous, and she became less non-monogamous, and so we ended up breaking up. And then I found a couple partners who have just been perfect because they are good friends with each other. Where it's not a throuple, but they're very good friends with each other, and I can't imagine doing it any other way, right? With like everybody, is it kitchen table poly? I don't know what that is exactly,
where
but
they know each other.
yeah, they know each other, right? Like we'll all hang out together. You know, they all have other partners, and everybody is communicative and happy, and we work things out the right way, and we set up rules that we agree to. One thing that I thought was really nice this week, kind of last time when we came here, we have condom rules, right? I don't use condoms with my two partners, and they don't, but we're the only people that don't use condoms with each other. We came here last year, and there was a condom incident, and we didn't handle it well, and we had some conflict, and then we set up some rules and had some communication, and then we came back here this year, and we had another condom incident, and we handled it perfectly.
Oh.
And I was very happy that, like, oh, not only did we prepare for this, we ran into the scenario, we immediately put the plan into play, and everybody's going to be happy and nobody's going to be mad. And
What was the plan? Like, how did it change from year to year?
oh, so the thing is, like, so fluid bonded with those two women, right, and try to keep that a very close circle. But Melissa had a condom incident last year, right? Something broke or something.
Okay.
And then after that, I kept fucking her without a condom, right? And so then that kind of circle is broken, right? Because now, and then I got back home, and my partner back home said, "Oh," I said, "Okay, I'll just use condoms with you for a couple weeks, get tested, and then I'll go back to normal." And she said, "Well, that doesn't feel fair to me, right? Because she didn't do anything wrong. The incident was on this end." And so we said, "Okay, if this happens again, I'll start using condoms with Melissa immediately, and then there'll be, the circle will be still secure." And so we did that, and I was very happy that I was like, "Oh yeah, we have the plan, put the plan into action," and we did. And then I let her know immediately back home, and she said thanks. Like, "Oh, sorry for that, but thanks." Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's good communication for the second partner to be able to say, well, like, didn't do that, so and that actually hurts me, instead of just accepting it and feeling resentful or something.
And then saying, "Yep, okay, good feedback." Like, took a while to work through it, but everybody was happy in the end, and everybody is going to continue to be happy. And that's how you do it. You just communicate, and you be clear and open and honest and all of that. Like, let people know how you feel, and they love you, so they'll be accepting and they'll work it out.
How and when did you realize you were bi?
Oh God! So I grew up in Boston in the '80s, so I was not bi, but I was definitely bi. I remember in high school, I really wanted a girlfriend, and I had this thought where I was like, "Ugh, well, if I can't find one soon, I guess I'll just be gay." Because I didn't have the language for bi back then, right? Like Newsweek hadn't invented bisexuality, right? And then
Bisexuality was invented in 1993, I believe.
Exactly. Yes. And I had that magazine delivered to my parents' house. Like, oh, what's this? And then as soon as I got to college, I was just like, yes, I'm bi. I'm bi. Where's a boy? Let me kiss him. And it was interesting because, like, I was already I had planned to like become a different person when I went to college and become more myself. And I ran into it was 2000, and I ran into a lot of people who'd be like, well, "I heard you made out with this guy last night," and I'm like, "Yeah," and you're just letting people know. I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then like I come, people would talk to me about that, and then a little while later, like people are like, "Oh, that's so cool, that's great." And then this one guy was talking to me about that, and then later he comes out as gay, and I was like, "Oh, I hope make him comfortable." And then I had another friend who hasn't isn't really out, but defined themselves as non-binary, and so that me being like that was very helpful for them to figure that out. And so I've just been like, yeah, like as soon as the 2000s hit it, and I got out of Boston and that kind of thing, I was just like, why hide it? Like, why it just feels wrong. And let me see. And then I was married for a while, so I was straight then, right? Although that was a big part of getting out of that marriage, because I was like, oh, I cannot just do this. Like, I don't want to cheat, but she's not a guy, and like, how do I figure that out? And how do I manage that? And I remember thinking, like, in that marriage, I'm not this partner isn't perfect for me, but there's no way I'm gonna find one partner who is perfect for me, right? There's impossible. And then I eventually realized, oh, maybe I could find multiple partners, and we all know the idea of, oh, multiple partners fulfilling different needs and everything. And I finally like figured out that worldview, and now I have all my needs met, and it's really fucking wild.
It's possible. It can happen. That's lovely.
It can, and it's like, yeah, I want people to know that, like, it's not that hard. You just have to be thoughtful and smart and kind, and like read the books,
Yeah.
and mean it,
Yeah.
like, and find the community and find the people, and then
Yeah.
those people will help you find the other good people. Like, I'm sure not everybody's doing it right. I'm sure a lot of people are doing it wrong, and I run into that once in a while. But like, my people, we all support each other and help each other figure out how to do it right.
What are 3 books you'd recommend on that topic?
Not Ethical Slut. Ethical Slut was great in the 90s. Ethical Slut is like 300 pages of it's okay to be poly. If you're already okay to be poly, you don't need to read Ethical Slut. Polysecure is okay unless you've already read about attachment theory, and then it's just mostly attachment theory. Like, most of that because attachment. But I did like that one. More Than Two also seemed useful. So those are only 2, but yeah.
Cool. I love Polysecure. I haven't read More Than Two, but I will check it out.
That was a follow up to Ethical Slut. It felt like, right. It was like, okay, it was like, now that you know it's okay, here's how to do it right.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you were a trailblazer back in college. It's like being more out. It has benefits for you. It's like you wanted to be out, but also it ripples out to other people, and who knows the transformations you can spark in other people. It's beautiful.
And what's the downside? Like, there used to be a stigma attached to being gay, and there still is, right, in a lot of places. But like, if the people around you directly don't feel that way, then it's fine. And if you are around people that do feel that way, stop being around them. Like, just okay, cool. Those are not good people. Bye.
That's a good filter for you. Exactly. Any final thoughts or things you want people to know about this space?
This space about BFF, it is insane. It is like, I'll tell you that the thought that I had coming in here the very first time was, come in here, people are naked, people are whatever. I'm nervous. And I do this thing that I've done a lot where I walk by a guy and I go, oh, that guy's really hot. Surely, though, he's straight. I know he's straight. And then I realize I'm here. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, he's definitely not straight. He's absolutely not straight. Like, on the street, who knows, right? But all of a sudden I'm here and I go, oh, everybody is game. Everybody is valid here. Everybody wants to like say yes, right? It's a very yes focused place. I love it.
Cool. Amazing. Well, thank you, Drew. Thanks for being on the show. All right, that was Drew. And now, finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, an extended interview with the organizers of BFF for many years, Brad and Tracy. Okay, here we go. So I'm here with Brad and Tracy, the people who run BFF. I was gonna say founders, but I know you're not actually the founders. So why don't we start by you both introduce yourselves and tell me, like, how did this come to be your thing, BFF?
Well, this is Tracy.
Hello.
Hello. And
I'm Brad.
we discovered it together in year 2 of the event. We were planning a trip to Vegas and had reached out to a bi couple, and they weren't available the week that we were going to be there, but they said, "But are you both bi?" We said, "Yes, we're both bi." And he said, "Well, here's this event." And we went, and it just really opened our eyes. You know, it was very tough. This was 20 years ago to find
21 now.
well, we came at the second year. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so it was 20 years ago. Things were not as, readily available for bi people.
There was
And-
nothing.
I mean, they're still not readily available. So 20 years ago must have been
hardly anything, but this was it, and we stumbled into it, and we just loved it, and the vibe was unreal, and the people who ran it, they ran it for the first 3 years, and I from what I understand, they didn't get rich, and so they didn't want to do it, and I guess they weren't very good at math. We all still wanted to do it, so our buddy took it over and ran it for 9 more years until 2017, and then he didn't want to do it anymore. And
That is our dog drinking.
Yes, dog drinking in the background. We're not at BFF anymore. We're at Brad and Tracy's house a few months later. Okay. Anyway, continue.
So nobody else was picking up the reins, and I said to Tracy, I think if we don't take this over, it's done forever. And we were just attendees. It was our favorite event of the year. At the time, it was only the once a year. Now it's biannually. But we decided, rather than see this thing go, because there was nothing else like it, we took it over. And then we were going to grow it a little bit. We didn't want to kill the awesome vibe. So we were like, okay. We finally started in 2020. We started with a winter event and a summer event, but each one we only allowed to grow by 25 people year to year.
Yeah.
So it just slowly grows and keeps that same. It's really like a community.
Cool.
Awesome vibe.
Yeah. Yes, we heard so much about the community. That's what. It's funny when you're there. Like you think people will just talk about the sex, which they did, but the community is really what everyone wanted to talk to me about, and people were in tears. Some of them in tears talking to me about this for this podcast. Yeah.
Well, that's,
Wow.
that's what was important for us. I mean, the people that ran it before, and even Don, when he ran it before, or our friend when he ran it before,
I could got it.
it's it had a different vibe, but it was the community, it was the friendships, it was, there was this funny quote that I had said at one point, and I said, "It's like family, but not in the gross way." It's like family that you fuck, but not in the gross way. And then they kept using it for like years. They kept making fun of me, and I'm like, "But you know what I mean?" And they go, "We do know what you mean." And with it only being once a year, it was always so bittersweet on Sunday or Monday, saying goodbye to everybody, because it was like coming home every year, and it was like, "Oh God, we have to wait another year before we see each other."
Like summer camp.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was like, yes, sexy bisexual summer camp.
Yeah.
And it was just really so very freeing and very healing, I think.
Yeah.
It was just very much a recharge and a reset. And I think that was what was so important to me, is just, well, we can all just be our true authentic selves. And over time, just keeping that going. And then, of course, adding the dancing and the lights and everything that Brad's added to the event to make it more of a party was important, and I think that was the valuable thing for me anyway.
The dance party was so fun, and particularly as someone who wasn't having sex this year for my plant medicine reasons, I had so much fun at that dance party this year. I'm curious, you mentioned the vibe changing over the years. How has it changed? How has the feeling and the vibe changed over the years?
Well, when the original organizers, there, that's the word. When the original organizers were running it, they would have events, like you'd go to the strip club, you'd go to the dance club. They had some vendors. Like, it was a little bit
That was only
contrived.
The first 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of distracting things on agenda, and it was really, we just when our predecessor took it over, not the founders, but when he took it over for the 9 years, he asked around, and we all decided, no, all that stuff is really just taking us away from what we really want to do, which is just hang out naked, party, and fuck, and just hang out. We don't want all these distractions. But then we added the dance party, which got a little more, it just upped the energy level, and it's just a fun addition. It's not really distracting.
And it was just Saturday.
But I've been actually trying to be careful to not change the vibe too much as far as that, because it's got this welcoming, friendly, like, maybe everybody doesn't want to fuck everybody, but it's not cliquish at all. Everybody is so welcoming and friendly, and it's just like, it's like one group. It's not like those people in these little corner huddle over here, and they all keep to themselves. It's amazing, and that's the thing that I didn't want to kill, and that's why we're only allowing 25 more people every time. As far as the dance party, this summer we're adding like a little 10 to 15 minute like working into the dance party light show. Cool. Like lights and laser show. It's gonna be
love it. Cool. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I like my first time I came alone. I didn't know anyone, and I was pretty nervous not knowing anyone. And really it was pretty instant of that feeling of, oh, everyone's so friendly. It's not cliquey like some other play parties can be. People know each other already and they're not going to come talk to you. It wasn't that way at all here. Like I met people day one who then by day 3 were like close friends.
It's so welcoming. It's unreal.
Before we ran the event, it was like, there was a few of us that as soon as new people would walk in the door, we were like the welcoming committee. Hello, hello. And that was really fun. And seeing that continue with as big as a group as it is, when there's a new person, they kind of have that look like that, I'm taking this all in kind of look. And you see that, and you just see people rush over there and like, hello, let me show you around. And you'll see tours going around, and tours often inevitably lead to very thorough tours.
How do you mean?
Happy
I was just thinking about
tour
that.
guides.
Yeah, if you do a lap around the complex at any moment, like something could happen. You'll probably bump into someone and something might happen.
Yeah.
There's always something going on around there. Yeah. I'm curious also about like your bi journeys leading up to this, like before this, like for both of you, whoever wants to go first. When and how did you realize you were bi, and what was it like before you got to BFF? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Well, I guess I always knew I was. However, back in that day, it just didn't seem like it was an option. I was talking to somebody who presented as gay their whole life, who turns out they're bi, and I'm like, well, why didn't you act on it? And he's like, I didn't think it was an option. And I could so relate to that statement, because it was like, yeah, I always knew I was, but it's like, I was under the impression I had to, like, oh, if I wanted, this side, I had to be gay, and I was definitely not. A little more, on the heteroromantic side, but totally bi, actually pan. But until I thought it was an option. So eventually I told my first wife, and that didn't, and we were swingers, and but she was a little bit on the double standardy kind of side of things. In some respects, like it was okay, for the women to be bi, the men, especially not her man, that kind of fell apart. And then when I met Tracy, we were talking a lot on the phone, and somehow it came up that she was playing with a guy, and then she was playing with a girl. So it was like, oh, you were kind of swinging a little bit. And she was like, bi. I'm like, oh, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm bi. And so I took that opportunity right away. Oh, okay, well, me too. Cool.
Cool. How did she react?
Fine. I mean, she's here we are. She's totally, pro alphabet community.
Cool. How'd you two meet?
It was an introduction, actually. I had known a friend of hers that knew her from school, and I was between wives. And so I said, hey, anybody, young kid single, send them my way, and well, maybe we'll get a drink and just see if we click, no pressure or anything else. Just kind of, so we did. We got a drink and we clicked.
Cool.
Brad was my first one night stand.
Oh.
We had both been freshly out of our long-term relationships, and we just, let's meet. We'll go out on a date. No big deal. We weren't really expecting anything, and we hooked up, and
I wasn't expecting to get laid.
So
I don't know that you can really call it a one night stand.
I don't think I did it
But
right,
felt
but
like
it worked
that.
out okay.
It felt like that at the time, and then you didn't see each other.
I was
But
like,
then,
that seems like a fun thing to do. I've never done that before. Let's do that. And then,
for a while we were still both seeing other people.
we also lived really far away, so we really
she was
didn't
definitely geographically undesirable.
So I don't think we really had any intention of it being long term because of the distance. But we just clicked, and the rest is history.
how far into your relationship was the first BFF that you attended?
Wasn't long.
9 months.
Yeah. So it's pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty fresh. I don't.
That was so awesome that we just discovered it, and it was it had already been 1 year we had missed. It was the second year of it, and we were just like, wow. And I mean, not only was there nothing else like it in the sense that it's an all bi event, but just the vibe, that welcoming, that non-cliquish and unpretentious, just because we've been to a ton of all these people. Everybody says the same things. We've all been to a lot of events, and there's just nothing else like this.
Yeah. Okay, and tell us about your bi journey.
I've been thinking about that lately because I haven't had, I don't know if I had the language to really know. I was always kissing girls
Cool.
as a small child, and got caught a couple of times. And I don't know. Okay, I had the words the other day. I was always attracted to other girls, so I just assumed that meant that I wanted to be like them. Like maybe somebody told me that, like, well, you admire them. Oh, I like them. Oh, because you admire them, you want to be like them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to kiss them and kiss their boobies. Like, but I didn't, and like, one of my favorite movies as a very small kid was, or a favorite scene, I should say, was Beastmaster. And that scene where these two really hot girls are showering in I don't know, now everyone's going to go watch Beastmaster. But there's a scene where the two slave girls are washing themselves. And, that was porn for a, 4-year-old. And I'm just like, oh, they're such beautiful girls. But I don't know, I've just always been attracted to women, but never really acted on it until I was in my early 20s, I suppose, as far as actually taking it to the next level. I mean, making out and stuff as a kid, that light experimentation, but as far as actually having sex with a woman, it was with my ex. And that was the story that I was telling Brad when he was like, wait, what? Hold on, go back, because it wasn't the point of the story. I think the point of the story was
yada over the good part, and I'm like, wait, hold on here. You just yada over swinging and bisexuality. We're gonna back up and cover that a little bit.
Yeah, and it was something about allergies, and I was like, well, let me tell you, I was doing this thing, and I was, having sex with this woman, and then I was sucking on his dick, and then something allergies, and he goes, wait a minute, let's go back to that story. So he said, okay, I want you to look at this website. And he has me look up his lifestyle website. And I think that weekend he came out and we changed it to a couple's profile and said, let's try this. Because I didn't know what swinging was.
Yeah.
I was 26. I thought that was something people did in the 70s. And I'm picturing burly, hairy-chested men with really thick gold chains. And
you're not into that?
I was just picturing a very 70s, like, what is it, Boogie Nights or something. I thought that was something that was back then. I didn't know it was a current thing. I didn't know it existed. I
think it was like only within a week we went from cute one to cute one.
Yeah. You came over that weekend. We changed the profile back, and I was like, wow, this is like grocery shopping for sex. You can you literally just find them on the website. It was mind blowing to me. And then
Logan's
of
Run.
course,
What?
Logan's Run.
What's that?
Oh, it's an old sci-fi movie. But they were doing that. You could just like order somebody.
So like the swinging scene, how I know it's the BFF scene is adjacent to swinging. There's a lot of people who are swingers who come, but it's different. So I'm curious, like, you know, what some people already have talked about the differences, but what are they in your mind? And like, how have you navigated the swinging scene? Like, how much a part of that are you guys versus is BFF and bi stuff and this community, has that become your whole outlet, or are you still in the swinging scene outside of that?
well, I mean, we've talked about that. Like I said, we really didn't have any bi avenues, right? That wasn't a thing until we learned about BFF. It was on the website. You know, you'd kind of look for people who were brave enough to say bi-curious or bisexual for the men. I mean, of course, we call it the vanilla lifestyle. So the non-bi lifestyle.
We're still in the swinging scene, and I would play straight, where which in the swinging world mostly that means the women is bi and the guy is not. So and we have straight swinger friends still. And these days we do that a little less now because we know just so many bi people, and it's just so much cooler sometimes when there's just whatever can happen.
I think the thing with us for like a lot of the parties and stuff, there was just such a double standard that the expectation was that the women were bi, but not too bi, because that was very threatening for the men. And the men couldn't be bi because that was very threatening to the men. And so, we certainly have a lot of friends that now know that we're bi and we still hang out and stuff. But once we sort of discovered BFF and created a group of friends, the vanilla swinger parties and stuff just weren't as fun.
Yeah.
And aside from that, we did notice it was very cliquey, and we didn't care for that vibe.
But I have to add that I see it. I have these big bi groups on all the major lifestyle sites, and times are definitely changing.
Really?
Oh yeah, the amount of guys who are now admitting it, or even slightly admit, like on Cassidy, there's like a scale of how much if this kind of interaction or whatever. So many guys now will put like maybe but unlikely at least under the like they're open to it or but there's varying degrees of that, but there's so many more. Because I've always said that I hypothesize the amount of bisexual men was equal to the amount of bisexual women. It's about the same, but because of societal taboos, they don't feel comfortable admitting it.
Right.
So you're not getting a real number. We're starting to see that a little bit more now, to where it's like it's reflecting the actual numbers. So because there's bisexual characters in film, in literature, on television, in the comic book characters, that people are seeing in film and all over.
I think that's absolutely true.
There's famous athletes now that are coming out, and
fictional athletes like heated rivalry.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, it's it's really changing people's attitudes a bit, and I'm seeing a lot more. The communities are growing. I can't keep up with it.
I mean, I wonder if that means there will be more events like BFF in the future, because there must be a huge hidden population. There's already now Ho Weekend, which is sort of adjacent to BFF, and many of the same people go. And there's hedonism in Jamaica, bi week at hedonism. There's some cruise I've heard people.
And there's littler things that happen. There's like a little thing in Colorado, and then there's some littler, parties in Vegas and Florida. I've heard about, just like not like a big takeover or anything, just more like your local swing club or whatever.
What you said is really interesting about like the women have to be just the right amount of bi, not like bi enough that it's hot for the men, but not too bi that they go off with each other and ignore the men, right? Like
it was a bit misogynistic.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
We were at a party, and it was two of the guys. It was their birthday. Hold on.
Okay.
We were at a party, and it was two of the guys' birthdays, and they were doing a naked twister ice cream sundae theme where they had several girls on the twister board, and these two guys, would flick the thing, and red hand, and then whipped cream or something. And so the guys, both of them, would have whipped cream cans, and they'd go around and squirt whipped cream on all the girls and then lick it off. And and it was, so it was a whole Sunday theme. But I remember one of the guys was like, lick this nipple, lick this nipple. And I said, whoa, you're a little OCD there, huh? And he goes, well, because I licked that one. So he had to lick the other one because that would be gay. And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to come to these parties anymore. I just remember looking at Brad and going, I don't want to do this anymore. This is dumb.
We can't both lick the same nipple.
Yeah.
It's like our
so
dicks touching, but like even more extreme.
And I thought, wow, that's sad. And that's just not my scene.
Yeah. So close to being hot, but
that was so long ago. That one
just really stuck with me.
That was right at the beginning. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
and that
forgot all of it. Yeah, we've come so far. Oh yeah.
But I've definitely seen guys get very threatened if girls have too much fun.
Yeah.
So there is the expectation that you will be a by production for my enjoyment. Yours is secondary.
Yeah.
The parties and the events that we go to though now are so far removed from that. Just everybody can be to whatever degree, or nobody's yucking anybody's yum, and everybody's just free to be them.
Well, and that's what's so nice too is we've made friends over the 20 years that we've been in the lifestyle together and doing BFF or attending BFF. I mean, we've learned so much from one another within the community about safety, about health, about pleasure, about sex enhancing drugs,
medicine,
all of these different aspects, and prep and proper cleaning and hygiene is shared on the boards and stuff. Like, people are really learning from each other. We go on vacations with these people, and we don't have anything to hide. If we're doing things, everything is just very open and freeing.
Yeah. And there's always somebody who knows, like, a plethora about things that the rest of us perhaps don't. Like, something like the medicine you were talking, like the PT-141, which is like a peptide. You can get it anywhere, but if you don't know what it is, then
Well, and then people were talking about, prepping for bottoms. And they were saying, oh, this TV show does the greatest job of teaching you everything you need to know.
Sex Education. It was on Netflix. It was like a British show.
Yeah.
Had a really, it was me who was talking about that. And it was really good.
But that was being passed around on the Telegram.
It was.
And so a lot of people that were like, I'm very curious about bottoming, but I don't feel comfortable. I'm not really sure what the steps are. Oh, watch this. And it was very liberating for, I think, a lot of people. Just the freedom that we have to say, yeah, this is who we are. It's like, you have your friend that you grew up with, like your boyfriend or your girlfriend that you grew up with when you were little, and they know a lot about you, and they know a lot about your experiences in childhood, but they may not know that you're a swinger.
Yeah.
And then you have your swinger friends that know you're a swinger, but they may not know you're bi. And for us, it's like, when you get to the level that we're at within our community, we don't really have any secrets. We're just like, yeah, this is who we are.
Everyone knows everything.
That's the thing, I think.
Right. No, that makes so much sense to me, and is how I've felt. Like, I used to go to parties, and I used to not be comfortable in my own sexuality, and then even going to parties, I would be nervous. And I've realized the more I go, and especially through BFF, has helped me feel really comfortable just having no expectations, being myself, going with the flow. And that's the way to be
Just
at these
owning
things.
it.
Own it and be totally open. If you're an
Very
open
free.
book, you will receive, what you're meant to. You don't have to try hard. You can just be,
It is so
share
freeing.
everything. Yeah.
Now, what I will say along those lines is you're right. It's so freeing, but we've even seen people that are like, we just want to watch this first time.
Yeah.
And they were a little bit, staying in the bleachers a little bit, and that's totally okay. They still came back.
Yeah.
They just weren't ready to jump in, but they weren't made to feel like
There's
outsiders.
never pressure
Right.
Yeah.
to do anything,
Yep.
But there's opportunities.
Yeah. Right.
You have to take them when they come, because if you try to make them, let's schedule this for, good luck with that. But
I've seen that
if
happen.
you
Yeah.
just
Let's
take
meet
them
up
when they
later
come-
at this thing. No, you're never all going to find each other later.
Yeah, but you just take them when they come. Like you said, you just walk around the thing, and an opportunity could arise. And if you want to take advantage of it, there it is.
Yeah.
But there's never pressure if you don't.
Yeah.
How do you two manage like running the event, but also enjoying it for yourselves?
That was a very tough balancing act to pull off, which we weren't at first. I was just too busy running it, and I wasn't really able to be part of it. Wait a second. The only reason I took this over is because I love this event.
Yeah.
So I don't need a gig. I need a bisexual fuck fest. So now we have not a lot. We have the price by like $10 everybody, and we're hiring people with that money, and so we have a good crew. We have a really good crew coming this summer. So we can just be there and be present. I like when I do something like that, I'm like, we're not here to, we don't sign up people for the next event. I don't want to talk about work. I don't want to be bothered. If you really need something, I am the organizer. But if you don't, I'm really here to party, and like I don't do emails. I don't even keep up on the BFF chats, the Telegram, because I'm just like, I'm there, I'm present, I'm at the event, and that's been my goal. So now I think we're a lot closer to actually achieving that.
And then over event after event, just sort of monitoring food intake and stuff. People used to go off site a lot. And Brad and I were like, we don't really want to go off site. We want to stay. We don't want to have to get clothes on and go off and do anything.
Yeah.
So, food was brought
Just
in,
stay
and,
naked all week.
make sure that everyone has enough, and, just kind of zeroing in on things over time, I think has given us more freedom. Each event, I think we get a little bit better at, it's not perfect. I do my best, but that helps. And then, of course, hiring people, which is tough, to say I need you 2 times a year is sometimes hard to find people. That's always a challenge, to find somebody that's trustworthy and hardworking. But we've got some really good people.
We step up our game every event, just at least a little bit.
Learn a little more.
Whatever we learn.
We try.
Cool. Yeah, it is a shock to the system there, like how you get so comfortable being naked all the time. Then you walk outside and you're like, oh shit, I have to wear clothes. This sucks. And I have felt that same thing of like, yeah, I'd rather just not leave. Why? What's out there that I need this weekend? Yeah.
But before, like the week before, and you're like, oh God, I'm going to be naked next week. How do I feel? Am I in the right headspace? How is my self-concept this week? We're all human. And then you get there and you take off your clothes and you walk outside, and it's just like, this is nice.
Right. And then I go back to real life and I'm like, why do I have to wear clothes all the time? Like you get in that mindset, and it's very freeing. And it's like, why are we wearing so much clothes all the time? Okay. Okay. What else do you want to share with people that we haven't discussed, or any final thoughts you want people to know about BFF?
I think the biggest thing for me is the intention of it really started with the concept of bi guys and the gals that love them, right? It was really a safe space for our bi males, and that's why we don't let straight males there. Even though people will say, oh, but they're really cool. They're really open-minded. Cool, but they're not bi, and it does change the vibe. It's different when you know that all of the men there, whether they want to fuck you or not, they're all in the same headspace. They've all experienced the same social pressures, discrimination, whatever words you want to use, that's a universal for
Yeah, if
all
they're
of
turning you
humanity.
down, it's not because they're straight. It's most likely because they just came.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you 30 minutes. So like,
Yeah. But it's not just, it's not just for, bisexuals per se. It's, we're pansexual. So it's not like it's one or the other. There's lots of transgender individuals. And so it's not discriminatory there, and it shouldn't be. It should be a safe space for all of us there. But
it
yeah,
really is.
Cool.
It's truly
Cool.
freeing.
Yeah.
And it's an insanely fun time.
but no straight guys.
There's enough stuff for straight guys out there in the world.
Exactly.
Cool.
Well, great. Thank you both so much. I can't wait for you to hear all the other interviews that will be paired with this episode, because people really get to be themselves there, and stuff came out, and they're some of the best interviews I feel like I've done on this podcast, because so much comes up in that space. And so thank you both for helping facilitate and create that space. And here's to many, many, it's been 21 years. Here's to many more.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Brad and Tracy. All right, that was my interview with Brad and Tracy, and that concludes this 3-part series about BFF. Summer BFF actually just happened. If you were there, let me know how it went. If you weren't there and you want to go to the next one, you can DM me, or there are instructions to get in touch with Brad and Tracy in the show notes directly. You can reach out to them. They will get you on the list. BFF happens twice a year in January and June. There is also a fun event called HOE, Ho Weekend, that happens in March and September, also in Palm Springs. Many of the same people go. Let me know if you would like to know how to attend that one. And there's more and more. I'm actually thinking of what might I create someday that is some kind of hybrid of a play event and a community building learning event. That is something I don't see out there yet that might be more in my wheelhouse to help create. I really want to build in-person by community as well. All right, thanks for listening to this series about BFF. Thank you for listening to this podcast in general. We've got 2 more episodes coming up to finish out season 10, and then stay tuned in the fall for lots more special things. I'm so excited. I'm working on lots of new coaching materials, courses, workshops, masterclasses, and I want to talk more about everything I'm learning and experiencing on this podcast, maybe even on a second new podcast. I've been doing some other things in my life that I want to share. So I'm glad you're here. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned. 2 Bi Guys by 1 Bi Guy is produced and edited by me, Robert Brooks Cohen, and it was created by me and Alex Boyd. Our logo art is by Caitlin Weinman. Our music is by Ross Mincer. To learn more about my individual and group coaching offerings, visit robertbrookscohen.com. And to help support this podcast, visit patreon.com/robertbrookscohen. You'll get full video episodes, early access, and bonus content. Thank you for listening to 2 Bi Guys by 1 Bi Guy.